Hello and welcome to the third video of the SQL for Beginners lecture series. In this video we will talk about what a database is. We'll also try to understand what a relational database management system is. Then we'll try to understand the different types of database solutions which are available to us. And finally we will open up Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and write some very basic queries. So let's get started. What is a database? A database is anything that collects and organizes data. Okay, so for example, if you are running a hotel, right, and if you have the customer bookings in a spreadsheet, even that will be termed as a database, right? And it can be as simple as a plain text file containing flight schedule data. Professionally, however, when one refers to database, we are likely talking about relational database management system. So what is it? Relational database management systems are nothing but it is a simply a database that holds one or more tables that may have relationships to one another. For example, if we see we can see that there are two tables in this slide, and that one of them is an order table, the other one is a customer table. However, in the order table there is no information about the customer other than the customer ID, but this customer ID is helping us to establish a relationship with the customer table. For example, if you check the first row of the order table, we have an order ID of 3 and customer ID of 3. So basically that, or the first row data is referencing to the third row data of the customer table. So that is how we build relationships between tables, and is the foundation of relational database management systems, right? So why do we need separate tables? So first of all, the separation of tables is termed as normalization, and this is done because if you have everything in one single table, it becomes very cluttered and bloated, and it becomes difficult to maintain. So in order to keep things clean, we do this, right? Now, choosing a database solution. There are two kinds of databases, like we can see we have lightweight databases and centralized databases. So when the number of users is very less or even one, then you can go for lightweight databases, right? So they have no servers and are very nimble. Okay, examples are Microsoft Access and SQLite, etc. For centralized databases, this kind of databases are used when the number of users are in hundreds or in thousands. Okay, these databases runs on servers and are able to handle high volume of traffic very efficiently. Okay, and one more thing, the examples of centralized databases would be MySQL, then Microsoft SQL Server, which we will be using, and then there are more like MariaDB, etc. And one important thing, please do not be confused by the term SQL being used to brand database platforms such as MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, etc. Because SQL is the language to work with data, and these are mere platforms where they have used SQL for their marketing, to market their names, okay, so that people understand that what these platforms are about. Okay, so now let us go on and open Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and write some basic queries. Alright, so I have opened Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and something like this will pop up. So do not change anything, just click on connect, and that will open something in the Object Explorer. Okay, so if I click on database, and if I see I already have two databases present. So if I want to create a new database, what I have to do is I will have to go to new query, and I will, once it is open, I'll write some queries. Okay, so I'll write something called create database. Okay, and let's create a customer database first. We'll create a customers database, and then I'll select this entire thing and then click on execute. So that will see, it says commands completed successfully. So if I refresh it, so I should I can see a customers database, right? Now what I have to do is I'll have to use the database. So I'll click query use. I can use caps lock use, and the name of the database, right? So and then I can select this and then execute it, right? So now we are using this customer database. So now what we can do is I can create a table, and name the table like clients, okay, customer data, or maybe customer data, right? And then here I will give it the column names that this table should contain. So for example, I'll call it the first name, the customer, wait, I can start with customer ID, and it should be an integer, okay, it should not be a null, then comes first name, it is a broad char, okay. Again, I can have a last name, and these are the data types, right? And age, for example, I can call it integer, okay. So now if I run this like this, if I click on execute, yeah, it says the table is created. But if we go on and look at it, I won't see, okay, there goes the customer data table, right? Now what I want to do is I want to enter data into my table, right? We have created the database, we have created the table called customer data, and now we want to insert data into our table, right? So for that, what we have to do is we have to run this insert into then name of the table, customer data, okay. And you'll have to give it the names like this, last name, and then we want to give the values, okay. So since customer this is an integer, so we can start and give it a value of 1, say for example. Next say for example give the first name, so maybe it is Rakul, and the last name, okay, we have another one which is the age, okay. So we have age, I'm just giving spaces to clean things up, Rakul Ahmed, for example, and the age is 23, right? So if I select this and if I execute, yeah, it says one row affected, right? So how do I know that if the data has been inserted? For that I can write this another query which says select everything, and for that we use star from and name the table, right? So if I run this query, I will be able to get an output saying this. See, this we have created the table and it has customer ID, first name, last name, and the age, right? And we have inserted data into our table which is present in the customers database. So I think this is the these are the basics of SQL. We'll dive more into it in the coming videos, but I think for now this is it for this video. If you have any doubts, any queries, if you are stuck anywhere, please do leave me a comment so that I can get back to you and solve them for you, right? So this is it. So I'll see you soon. Thank you.